Hey everyone, welcome back to Winterfell Camp with me, Lad from the Woods. This is a voice in the bush opinion, thing that I do. I don't really do a lot of these. I usually just do the Lad from the Woods thing, but there's so much going on in the world, I kind of have to start speaking up. Today, which is Wednesday, December 18th, I wake up and I see a tweet from Mr. President Trump that Canada should become a 51st state. Blah, 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 and they support Canada for $100 million a year and so forth. Well, first of all, the $100 million yearly is simply not true. It's provable, and all the different places you can go to prove what monies are going back and forth with the that was my phone, with the border and stuff like that. Now, our premier, who is not the prime minister, is kind of like your governors in the state of Ontario. Ontario is our most populous province, our richest province, all the rest of it. Toronto is our big city here, all the rest of it. Anyways, Doug Ford went on CNN last night and basically said, okay, if you guys are going to play this with us down there in the United States, don't think that we're a toothless tiger. Ontario can do a lot and hurt America a lot. And I don't mean with armies and all that bullshit, but we can cut off your oil, okay? And we are your number one supporter of oil, energy, electricity. We actually supply electricity across the border, all that other stuff that we do, just Ontario alone. Then you have the auto industry. Okay, which is a back and forth thing between Detroit, and Windsor and Oshawa up here, stuff like that. And if you start playing that game, you're going to hurt Americans more than you'll hurt Canadians. Okay, because for us, we only have 40 million people here. You guys have what, 300 and some million there? So we cut your oil off, your gas prices go up down there. Americans, I know for a fact, hate high gas prices. Although in Canada, we're used to it. But, yeah. Okay. So Donald is on thin ice with this stuff. Okay. And he's wasting time. I'm going to be honest. Okay. I never supported Donald Trump the first time around. I bought into all the bullshit on CNN, all the rest of it. Okay. But I've figured out it's like this time now that he's been elected, I see a different Donald Trump. I saw him on Rogan. I saw him over on the Time interview, a bunch of stuff. And boy, has he got a lot of smart things and good things to say. I'm actually feeling good about his presidency. Me, a New Deal Democrat. But then, I'll do another video about it, but there's 3 New Deal Democrats right at his side helping him. That's Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, and who did I forget? Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, and Bobby Kennedy. God, of all the people to forget. Anyways, these are old school, I don't mean they're old, but old school New Deal Democrats, which are common sense Democrats, not these clowns calling themselves the Democrats now. We'll go into this later. Okay, I want to talk about Trump and the 51st state thing. I think it's kind of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. He realizes that our prime minister, the fraud and the criminal Trudeau, is of no use and is a complete wet noodle, and we need to get him out of there. Hopefully with this thing with Chrystia Freeland, which was our finance minister, and a bunch of other things, that he's going to resign. I'm counting on it. Hopefully before Christmas. So anyways, I've learned to start to make little crib notes so I don't forget and kind of keep things in order, because I'm really quite unorganized when I'm talking on this thing. Anyways, so I talked about 51st state, Trump $100 million, energy. Now the other thing is we do with Americans, okay, Canadians, well, you know this, of course Americans should know this, is that we're 100% in with the NORAD. Okay, and right now, if it hasn't changed, there's actually a Canadian general in charge of NORAD. It goes back and forth. And it's an expensive thing, it's a necessary thing, and it is extremely important to Canada and the United States. Okay, so we're involved there as well. You also have a limited amount of U.S. troops on Canadian soil. It's the United States Air Force. They have a few people on shared bases that we do with them for other reasons that, they have to be there to help us with, things that are being seen and stuff that we can't get access to normally. So there's kind of a back and forth thing there. And it's important to protect North America. Now, I'm going to say part of this for me is we should have left NATO back in 90, before Clinton became president. We should have left NATO. America should have left NATO. NATO had no reason to exist after the Soviet Union collapsed. Okay? Gorbachev was definitely, I was there when Gorbachev came to Ottawa here. I mean, it was like a Beatles concert. Him and his big long thing coming down, and he waves, and it's like thousands of people in Ottawa cheering him. Wow. Okay? So NATO's not necessary. That's something for those guys across the ocean. And why we're, like Trump says, like we're paying for this, we're doing this, we're doing that, and you guys are not lifting your finger. Well, okay. Well, Europe, you know what? Before World War II, you looked after yourselves, so c'est la vie. Have NATO. NATO did wrong by Putin. Putin's an idiot and a gangster and a very dangerous man. But we went and sent troops. We've been pushing NATO further and further after we promised them we would stop at one line. And Russia accepted that. We accepted it. It's like, okay, so now we can be friends. How do we proceed? Well, NATO, the neoliberal warmongers and all that. So anyway, we'll get off of that. Now, Donald says, well, there's many Canadians that want to join the United States. No, Donald, we have 40 million people here. Okay, a good number of them in Quebec. I can absolutely guarantee you that Quebec will want no part of the United States. First of all, it's to do with a French language thing. If we join down there, you guys in Quebec, it's a tiger's tail you do not want to go on with. Okay, Quebec and the rest of Canada has been back and forth since the first day of Canadian Dominion, and then, of course, now our full Canadian thing. It could be testy at times, and it has been. We've near lost Quebec. But I'm telling you now, you Americans want no part of Quebec. I don't mean that they're bad people. I've lived there. I love Quebec. I can't speak French. I'm useless. It's baby French. But I love my French brothers and sisters, the Quebecois. I absolutely love them, adore them. You have to live there in Quebec to understand them. Rest of Canada, if you haven't been there or lived there, you're not going to understand them. But once you live there, you understand them. And I become absolutely convinced we're not Canada without Quebec. Quebec is what makes us Canada. We got this side of Canada, Alberta and Ontario and those kind of things, and then we have Quebec. And that is the other side of Canada. Two of them together, we become Canada. Separate, Ontario becomes a 51st state and the rest of Canada. I mean, we won't be Canadian. It's the same with the guys down east, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland, Labrador, all of that. We have to have them to be Canadian, okay? I can guarantee you that Newfoundland will want no part of that going to the United States. And if you think Quebecers won't stand up and fight to keep you out, they will. And they will fight like animals. They will fight to the last man, woman, and child in that province. I can absolutely guarantee it. And they won't. Now, the other thing is, we have been dealing with the First Nations issue since the day Canada was created. We had done wrong by them, much like you Americans did by your First Nations, but our First Nations are extremely important to Canada, and they're becoming more so important. And finally, things are starting to go their way. Treaties are being signed. Treaties are actually being followed. But I can guarantee you, and I have a lot of friends that are First Nations lads, they don't want any part of the States. They've already had enough of Canada for the most part, but they'll work inside the system. But the United States coming in and doing to them what was done to the First Nations in the States, that won't stand with those boys. And you think they won't fight? I'm telling you, between Quebec, the First Nations, Newfoundland, and lots of Canadians, not many Canadians, Donald, will fight you like Afghanistan. We will have a guerrilla war that America will be stuck there for 100 years, because every Canadian that's truly a Canadian, I don't care if you're white, black, blue, green, whatever, you're here, you pay taxes, you're Canadian, okay? Because we're all immigrants except for who? The people that's been here for 12,000 years. The indigenous, if you want to call them that. First Nations is what I call them, because to me, they're a country. So anyways, yeah. So this is not going to happen. Okay. So I'm being very clear to you Americans. Canadians will fight. Yeah. You can kick our ass, there's no doubt, like you did Afghanistan, Iraq, and all the rest of it. But you're going to get into a ground war that will be endless. And you don't know the territory up here. You don't know what it's like up here. You have to conquer places like northern Canada. You guys can't do it with Ukraine. You're not going to do it here. And Canadians will go into guerrilla warfare. And don't think that we don't have guns here. We do. Okay, and we have certainly more hunters than probably is in the United States. Okay, and our hunters sit up in trees every November freezing their balls off. Okay, do you think these guys are going to worry about, how to deal with you Americans? No. So anyways, I don't like to talk like that because for me and a lot of Canadians, many Canadians, as Donald says, is you guys are our friends and our brothers and our sisters down there. And we're extremely important to each other. And to support you, as long as you're in the right, Canada's right there alongside you and always has been and always will be. But this talk of a 51st state, that's not good. Especially right now. Canada's on thin ice with Trudeau. Poilievre, the conservative guy, is no better than him. The NDP is virtually non-existent. The guy that runs that will never be elected. Unfortunately, for reasons I'm not going to get into. Okay? So Canadians that want to be a 51st state, bye-bye. Okay? Because then you're not really Canadians. Away you go. If you don't like Canada and how we operate things up here, because we had some good years under Harper, we had good years under the real Trudeau, we had good years under Chrétien, Mulroney, Turner for a short time, Martin for a short time, and whoever the next prime minister is will probably be okay with it, even with Poilievre, however you say his stupid name. So, no, Donald, there aren't going to be many Canadians wanting to do this, okay? And what many Canadians that you're talking about, they do exist, but like I said, rest of true patriotic Canadians will just say, okay, fine, out of here. Why would we join a country that doesn't have Medicare for all its people? Okay? That's not going to change here. Okay? It's a flawed system, but it works. But what you don't understand, America, is that each Medicare in Canada is run by the provinces and overseen by the federal government. So the way Ontario does Medicare for all is different than what Alberta does or Newfoundland, Quebec. Okay? I've lived in Quebec. It is different there. Amounts to the same thing, but it's different. And these are very specific things. And our provinces actually run more like separate entities than you guys down in the States as a republic. And we're not a republic. But you've taken away so many states' rights down there that our provinces individually as part of our country is more powerful day to day than what you guys are doing down there. So that's not going to change. And Canadians won't stand for it. Okay, you come in here, the pharmacy thing, all the things that go on down there with you guys down there, and it's fucked down there, there's no doubt, but that won't be happening here. Okay, and there's lots of us Canadians that have benefit a lot. Me in particular, I'm alive because of the Canadian Medicare system, okay? And I was treated at a very good hospital by very good doctors. I didn't have to wait. So a lot of what you hear are these Canadians that, oh, we're leaving, whatever. Those are generally rich Canadians that want private health care. Well, again, you want private health care, you want to blow your money, away you go. Down the States, go away, okay? Okay, I've already spoke about Quebec and First Nations. Canadians are as proud as Americans and as patriotic as their country as anybody in America. You guys don't see it because we're not flag wavers. We don't have big egos. We don't want to go around the world telling everybody what to do. We don't want to say we're the greatest in the world, blah, 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 blah. Although some of us would say, well, we're the most beautiful country in the world, and I say that, and I would agree, of course. But I'm almost done. Wow. But Canadians are proud. Okay? And if you think you're going to crush that by trying to make us a 51st state, it's just not going to happen. So to finish this, we'll finish this in a minute, 1 minute, 15 minutes, is that I say to you, Donald Trump, which you'll never hear this, but maybe people that voted for him and people that believe what he's saying down there, is we have far more important things to worry about than this nonsense with the 51st state and these tariffs. Okay? Yes, we're going to clean up our border, and as long as we're stuck in NATO, we will get to 2%. Our premiers are working on it, even though our prime minister isn't. It'll get done. As for the border thing, I think it's overblown because, like, there ain't millions of migrants coming from Canada going to the States. If they are, they came from your border, coming across our border illegally and coming back. Okay? So let's be real on that. But be that as it may, there probably is fentanyl and other things coming across that border. It's always been like that. It's nothing new. It was cocaine before. It was this. So, but yes, we need to tighten up our border. Absolutely 100% agree. Okay? That's important. Now, Donald says that we've got lots of important things to do around the world, pull out of Ukraine, solve this Israel war, endless war thing, and 1,000 other things he's got on his plate. And he's going to get a lot of it done. I'm actually feeling good about a Donald Trump presidency this time around. No, I don't agree with him on everything, but I have never agreed with every leader on every little thing. And the fake Democrats will go, oh, we have to agree with everything with him, so that's when then he's perfect. Well, when he doesn't do what we want, even though America elected him over us, okay, he's a fascist. Anyways, he's no fascist. And that's insulting to the 6 million Jews. That'll be a different thing. Another one of those talks. So anyways, I'll stop this now. Okay, sorry for looking down. I keep looking at my crib notes and I'm trying to get this coffee in my mouth. But just know that Canadians are proud. You're not coming here to take our country. We will fight the country. You do not understand our country, okay? In particular with Quebec and our First Nations friends, brothers and sisters. And that doesn't even count for Alberta. That's a whole other ball game there. And Alberta may go, oh yeah, we'll become part of the States. We've got all the oil, da, da, da. A lot of guys will say that there. But at the end of the day, once they realize what the consequences are going to be, and they won't benefit from the oil and all that once America takes over like they do now, they'll soon change their minds once it's explained to them. So we'll get back to it. We have important things to do. We have to deal with, Donald has to deal with Russia. He has to deal with China. He has to deal with 1,000 other things that are far more important than this nonsense. Now, like I said, I think it's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink kind of deal. I agree with him. Trudeau's a wet noodle. I don't think he said those words, but that's what it amounts to. Elon says he's insufferable. Yes, he is. So we're working on it. He's going to be out of there. He's in a minority government, so the government can collapse at any time if the NDP doesn't support him. It's parliamentary politics. You'll have to look how that works. Britain has it. A number of countries do around the world. So anyways, I'm going to end this here. So I'm hoping it's a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Donald, if you ever see this or somebody that knows Donald, more power to you, brother. I bought into the Kool-Aid the first time around, but I've seen from my own eyes and Joe Rogan and all these other interviews you're doing, you're not the same man you were in 2016. And I think you're going to be very dangerous to the establishment, the deep state, and I'm all for it. And Donald, you might really want to consider having America pull out of NATO, and hopefully we can elect somebody here that'll agree with you. We need to leave NATO. C'est la vie to NATO. Okay? So everyone be good to their fellow humans. America, I do love you. I am half American and half Canadian, so I can't help but love my country down there. I still actually vote down there. I don't vote here because of the way my residency thing is here. And that's fine. But I know our politics, I know our politicians, and I certainly know our people. And this is not something you want to keep doing. I wrote today in a tweet is that hell hath no fury like a pissed off Canadian. You should take that very seriously, America. So, like I say, we're not a big country with nuclear weapons or any of that stuff. We can't beat you, but we certainly can grind you down like Afghanistan did for 20 years. I don't think there's a whole lot of Americans that are going to want that. Lastly, we'll finish this at 20 minutes. Lastly, what you don't realize too is there's a pile of Americans that own cottages, businesses, all sorts of things up here. So when you start playing with terrorists, you're going to be screwing over that the Americans between New York State, Pennsylvania, Michigan, these border states, Vermont, New Brunswick, we do a lot of business together, and a lot of Americans own cottages and land and businesses up here, and you're going to be screwing them up. You don't want to do that, okay? And you need to protect those people. So, all right. So be good, everyone. Be good to your fellow humans. Please like, share, and subscribe. Like I say, I don't do very many of these voice in the bush opinion videos, but I'm starting to feel strongly about some things, and it's time for me to say something. Okay? So please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to donate to help feed my cats or my animals, the birds, a billion other things around this place, there's links down in the description. PayPal being the main one. Lad from the woods is what I am everywhere for that sort of thing. Yeah, that's about it, man. So like I said, be good to your fellow human, be good to each other, and peace, long life, and live long and prosper. See y'all later. Bye. Oh, I said y'all. Oh no! I did a video about that. You damn Americans.